Hello class, my name is Cian Park and today I'm going to start my presentation. I named my presentation as the influence of sound technology. So out of the 6 main prompts, I chose this prompt and it states to explore the way that sound, noise, and or silence has been operationalized and or taken on a certain meaning in a particular cultural context. And the cultural context may include entertainment industry, commercial world, medical world, and etc. So when I first looked at this prompt, I first chose my cultural context, and my 3 cultural contexts that I'm going to discuss about in my essay are historical, cultural, and industrial parts of our society. And just like the prompt, I'm going to use those 3 cultural contexts to explain how they used it, how they operationalized, and how they got influenced, like taking on a certain meaning, how they got influenced by the sound technology. So how did I approach to this essay? So first, I chose my 3 cultural contexts based on the sound technology. So I chose those 3 cultural contexts which may have sort of linked to each other between sound technology, and in those 3 cultural contexts, I focused on who or what got influenced by the sound technology. And for third, I focused on how did they use the sound technology. And for the last part, I focused on the result and outcome. So the first cultural context that I'm going to discuss about is historical. The first part I discussed about the communities that got influenced by the sound technology. There are certain communities in the society that got influenced by the sound technology. The communities are the African American communities and the women communities in early 20th century. First, I'm going to talk about the African American society, the communities. During the early 20th century, African American communities who were living near the Louisiana state started jazz. Jazz was a new sound genre, and it had a very unique tempo and a taste. First, jazz musicians, mostly African Americans, wanted to share their music to other people in the nation, but that wasn't possible because during early 20th century there was strong discrimination and violence between the races, so they couldn't do that. But the sound technology allowed them to spread their music across the nation. Sound technology such as the recording studios and radios allowed them to spread their music and share their thoughts. So first, they used the sound studio to record the high quality music. Compared to the LP, this music from the sound studio had a better quality, and it was very easier for the musicians to work there. After recording their music in sound studio, they used the radio they send their music to the radio station, and those radio station broadcast their music throughout the nation, which could easily make the people in like other parts of the country to hear the jazz music. The end result of the jazz music musicians using sound studios and radios was very positive, because those jazz, it was not only a music, it allowed certain link and bond or unity between the races, especially between white and black communities. They were able to unite together and share their cultural informations, slowly share their cultural information through the music, such as jazz. The other communities that got influenced by the sound technology is the woman society. During the early 20th century, it was also called the male dominating society. During the early 20th century, women did not have a privilege like male, and because they didn't have a right to vote and they couldn't get a stable job. But however, sound technology such as telephone changed everything. Telephones allowed a person to communicate with others without actually making a contact. So many women enjoyed using the telephone, and that made them to get a job that required telephone skills. And slowly over time, there were a business doing mainly focus on collect calls or business commercial calls, and many women were able to get a job on that business and slowly obtain their position in male-dominating society. The next part I'm going to talk about is cultural context. The communities that got influenced by the sound technology culturally will be the deaf community. The deaf community, it might not be familiar, but it's a community created by deaf people who are naturally born deaf and who got deaf due to their accidents. In the deaf community, how the sound technology is used is by cochlear implant, the hearing aid machine. The deaf community towards to the cochlear implant sound technology is either positive or negative. The positive side states that cochlear implant, the new hearing aid technology, may end their deafness, and it will allow them to be part of the sound world, the major world, and then it will allow them to get a job there and work as a part of the sound world. However, the negative side states that as soon as you get a cochlear implant, you will lose the identity as a deaf person. And then the more and more people use cochlear implant, the population of the deaf community will decrease, and eventually it will destroy the deaf culture and the identity of a person. The end result will be, it's still debated, but still there's the two positions existing in the deaf community, who are positive on the cochlear implant or negative in the cochlear implant. The positive side is still stating that they can be part of the major society and is able to listen to the music and different culture and learn different culture more easily. But the negative side is saying that they may lose their identity as a deaf person, and culture, like deaf culture, which includes ASL, American Sign Languages, and their own way of living. They will, as soon as they get cochlear implant, they will forget everything that they already learned in deaf community. So there's still debate going on. Sorry about that. The next part will be industrial part of the society. The industrial part, the communities got influenced by the sound technology, will be mainly cars and motor companies. And how the sound technology is used, how they are used is that during 1908, the first car model, Model T, appeared. And during that time, people only focused on its function and its performance. However, the time passed by, the customer demanded more advanced cars, and the companies, they want to make a difference between their product and the other company's product. So they focused on reducing the sound that's made by the cars. For example, the engine sound, the unnecessary sounds that are made inside the cars. The sound engineers use the sound technologies to reduce those sounds in the cars. The end result was that they believed the cars that produce lesser sound is more valuable and advanced, and it helped motor companies to compete with other companies more effectively. For the conclusion, in my essay, I mainly focused on different communities, different cultural contexts, how different cultural contexts such as historical, cultural, and industrial parts of our society used, and how it got influenced by the sound technology and its end results. And clearly, by looking at the street, it showed the importance of that sound technology and the potential. Thank you for listening to my presentation.